What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, joined by my co-host today.
Diva 21, what's up?
Friday night Knicks game for tonight. The Knicks will be playing their first matchup of the season against the Philadelphia 76'ers. Last year, both teams evened out the matchup with 2-2 against the series. But I know the last game Philly played against the Knicks, I believe the Sixers blew the Knicks out. And I know Embiid went off, but we're not going to hash on that. It's a new year, it's a new day. Um, some injury reports for tonight. Malachi Flynn, he's cleared to play for tonight. So I'm wondering if Tibbs is going to get him any minutes tonight. Do you think Tibbs is going to play him?
Probably so, because Deuce, we root for Deuce, we want the best for him, but he seems not assured. He's still like he don't have that confidence. So he might, who knows? It'd be nice to see him play, get some
Oh,
reps.
what do you think it is with Deuce? You just think that he's just like, why you feel he's not ready?
You know what? As much as like he says, oh, but he's happy for the contract, that they gave him and signed him because they saw what he can do. Da, da, da. Sometimes, you don't the mindset. You got, the contract, you got the money, and now it's like, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? So, you don't know if it's a confidence thing or nerve thing. So you don't know what's his mindset when he's on that floor. I was he was just so shaky and he just seemed so nervous when he was in. So
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Deuce is ready to be the
yeah.
solid backup point to Brunson. And this was one of the things that I had brought up in our last episode where I was saying that Brunson doesn't have a solid backup. Where if he goes to the bench to catch his breath and take a little breather, you bring it in Deuce. But I think Deuce has gotten better handling the ball, but I don't think he's ready, nor do I feel as comfortable as when Quickly was coming in and bringing up the ball, So I don't know who's the other options to bring up the ball besides him. I guess it would be maybe DiVincenzo and Hart at times. And I still stand by. I don't want to see Randle bringing up the ball. He just, he's not a good. That's not his role. I need you to score and do the other things, but bringing up the ball, I don't want to see Randle trying to orchestrate the offense, in my opinion. I don't think that's what he should be doing. But I do think that the Knicks still need to get the backup pieces, and one of those backup pieces is a solid point guard because Jalen Brunson doesn't have a backup. He has to continue. He has this pressure, which I think he's doing a fantastic job handling the pressure. Um, and I don't even think he feels it as pressure, but he has to constantly keep bringing the ball up the court and orchestrating the offense, and he just doesn't have that help. And I just don't think that Deuce is ready into that level to handle the ball, and orchestrate the offense and call out the plays. And, I don't know. I think Deuce has to work on developing his game more and shake off the nerves. And then, we'll see what happens in that regard. But I don't um I don't see that going on. But really quickly, the Knicks
Wait,
will
I'm
will
sorry.
slide back into the previous game.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you finished going over the injury report. I mean, you started it.
Oh yeah, I didn't go into it because I wanted to jump back into the Sixers, but I wanted us to go over
Oh, no,
um,
okay.
the Chicago game because we didn't really touch on our thoughts on that, and then we'll hop back into the Sixers. But with the Chicago win, that made it two in a row for the Knicks, and that's why I made the title of this podcast is "Can the Knicks make it three in a row against Philly?" Um, the Chicago win was one of those games that I did want the Knicks to win. I saw the Knicks beating them because to me, the Knicks should be beating a team like Chicago. I
Yeah.
thought Chicago kept the Knicks on their heels.
Mm.
They had the Knicks. It was a pretty even matchup, I'll say, for the most part. I thought that both Randle and Brunson did a great job. They both combined for 66 points together. And then you had other guys who did step up in that game. I think Randall's been on a tear, and I want to see him continue that in tonight's game. But anything in particular that stood out for you in that Chicago game?
Um, well, they got off to a rocky start in the beginning,
Yeah,
and like like I always say, no game is given to you. You got to go out there and take it. It's earned. Um, it was. I'm hoping they can definitely clean up some things. It was way too many turnovers in that first half. Um, we got killed on the three. Like that was all seemed like Chicago was hitting. DeMar had like 19 points,
yeah,
within, I'm like, and and we know he's good. We know what he's capable of. So and just like, you know, just to start, like, you I guess some people thought it was like a run, a definite, but no game is a definite. They did clean it up in the second half. The ball started moving. But again, it took that, like, for sometimes that's what you need, that timeout, so you can gather yourself and regroup. They the floor, lot and good floor spacing, in that second half. So they did a lot of cleanup, house cleaning in that second half. Less turnovers. We got 17 of, I think, like the 29 assists.
mhm,
That came from just the ball movement, guys cutting. Um, just Hartenstein was attacking the glass. So, and he was huge. Hartenstein, like, I'm hoping, he can definitely, piggyback off of that. What he had, like 10 points, um 20 rebounds. I know he had some blocks, I think like five or something.
mhm.
So, it was just a good team, effort, as far as just that win. So,
Yeah,
a nice way to start off the new year, 2-0.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I think that Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Isaiah
Yeah.
Hartenstein have been playing really well for the team. Julius Randle finished with 35 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. OG finished with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein, like you said, 20 rebounds, 10 points. Brunson, another game with high assists. He had 13 assists, 31 points. Dante DiVincenzo gave 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Josh Hart, he didn't have the best game against Chicago. He finished with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 points. Quentin Grimes finished with 8 points, and Precious did score 4 points in that game. So I thought the scoring, it those main guys definitely contributed. And I'm not even gonna bash on OG because I don't think OG's on this team to be giving us 20 points a night. I feel like OG knows his role and he plays with this like focus and he's very composed with the way
Yeah,
he plays. Like I've heard people say, oh, he doesn't smile, he's not here to take a picture. He's here to win. So what are you
exactly.
gonna be smiling for on the court? Like you, and I know some players are different. Some guys are very they express themselves on the court and they throwing up signs and like Melo used to do the whole tapping on his head and sticking out his tongue and he remember Melo used to curse when he got every rebound. He's
Oh
like, "Oh,
yeah.
I got it." And the cameras would pick it up too every time. I'm like, "Yo, Melo, I don't understand how he does that, but it's hilarious how he used to do that." But I think tonight I do want to be able to see some balanced scoring from Dante DiVincenzo. I would like to see Josh Hart contribute, Quentin Grimes too. I mean, if you can give us, 12 points, that would be nice. 14 points would be better. And then I would like to see him also help out on the rebounds. But the reason why I say that was a pretty even matched up game, field goal wise, the Knicks actually, their percentage was higher. They were at 51%. Chicago was at 41. 3 pointers, the Knicks was at 39%. Chicago was at 40. Free throws, the Knicks were at 81. Chicago finished at 81. Knicks
Wow.
finished with 52 total rebounds. Chicago at 39. Offensive rebounds, the Knicks had 13, Chicago 11. Defensive rebounds, the Knicks finished with 39, Chicago 28. The Knicks finished with 29 assists, Chicago 24. Both teams finished with 7 blocks. The Knicks, and here's the stat to me that stood out the most. The Knicks had 6 steals. That wasn't the stat that stood out. I mistaked it for another one. The Knicks had 6 steals, Chicago had 9. The turnovers is what stood out for me. The Knicks had 15 turnovers. And what I was saying with the Knicks, they have to start getting the turnovers under 10. I think anything over 10 is way too many, especially 15. And I want to say a few games ago, the Knicks had like 18 or 19 turnovers, which is absolutely way too many because it's resulting in the teams getting points. But Chicago finished with 11 turnovers. Knicks had 54 points in the paint, and Chicago finished with 36. And I think that's another thing too that they have to get back to is getting more aggressive in the paint and get those baskets in the paint. And I don't know if you noticed, Hartenstein shot one floater in the bank. Did you notice that he shot
Yeah.
one, but he didn't. To me, he didn't seem sure of it.
Yeah,
It
he didn't.
had no other option, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna take the chance and throw it up." But I didn't see that surety and that
Yes,
confidence with that shot. I was just like,
he tripped into that because that was when I think Randle assisted him, gave
mhm.
him that assist, that play. But no, yeah. And Hartenstein, man, I just wish he would just give us a 3 before the season's over. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, because he used to shoot the 3 last season. So it's
Yeah,
like, what's changed,
and he
And
did it
this
on
is
the
way
Clippers.
before OG came because
Yeah.
you know they what 20, 30 something games in.
Hmm.
So I would definitely love to see him, just do more of that.
Yeah, and he shot the three with the Clippers too. So I don't know why he
Yeah.
shied away from doing that. Again, I still have a big question mark with that. I don't know. I think there's a few things I have a lot of question marks for still with the Knicks, like big fat question marks. Why doesn't Hartenstein shoot the three, or is he showing his offensive game? Um, the Knicks giving Josh Hart that money. The Knicks giving McBride money. I just feel like I don't know. To me, while I want to see Deuce get his money, he's been consistently loyal with the team. And I think the Knicks staff do see something in him. I don't know if giving Mitch the money was a move to make so that if they could trade him, which I don't think they could do that until like June.
Mm.
But I don't know if that's a way to so he has some value. So when he goes to
Yeah.
another team, they try to get. So I don't know if that's the Knicks front office still playing chess in that regard. But there's just question marks that I still have. Also, and I fell back off of the whole Fournier thing. I said I'm gonna just be patient and let it ride out how it needs to ride out because again, I think that's part of their phase 2 of them making their moves and them doing what they need to do. So we'll see. Allen said him shooting a three won't allow him to offensive rebound in Tibbs' system. I think that's shame on Tibbs though, because him shooting the three will also, to me, it would stretch the floor out. It would stretch the offense out and space out the floor and give us another option where the defense is going to have to play defense, and that 5 on the opposing team is going to have to come up and try to guard him.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not necessarily just sitting planting in the paint. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Von Allen. I'm just saying that that's one of those things where you question Tibbs, like, why wouldn't you have Isaiah Hartenstein, being that offensive threat that he can be and be a contributor behind, Randle, Brunson, and
Mhm.
that third guy. He can be a fourth option. Why not? But you're limiting him to this box that I'm still not understanding why is he limited to, this little box that he's in. But yeah, that was pretty much my spiel on going over Chicago. I wanted us to retouch on that. I agree is why I prefer to have iHeart in with the starting five with that group. Yeah, for sure. Harten,
Yeah.
Hartenstein definitely should be starting. Sims isn't ready to the degree of Hartenstein. He's not going to do what Hartenstein's been doing. I think the experience shows. And if you notice, Sims hasn't even been in any games since he's been back. He's been sitting on the bench.
Did he play didn't they play in the
But
they got
Chicago,
in it was it the Chicago game
or
or
Minnesota.
a
I don't really
Minnesota
think.
game?
I must have
Yeah,
missed.
yeah, he did. It was him, Archie, Deuce was in, and Precious. Yeah, that the last few minutes of that Minnesota the New Year's
Mm.
Day
Oh,
game.
he got the scrappy time. Yeah, I must wasn't paying attention. Um, Vaughn says since Mitch is out the dunker spot, Randle has been on the tear. Yeah, I agree. I think to some degree, and I brought this up before, I hate how Tibbs runs the offense in a sense of like, I've seen where Mitch and Hartenstein sometimes they're in the way. So if like Randall or Brunson or whoever wants to drive that five, that center position, while they do a great job setting a screen so those guys could just keep going to the basket, there's a lot of times where I find they're in the way. And Hartenstein, a lot of times, I'll see him standing in the middle of the paint and he'll have his hands ready to pass the ball. But I see why a lot of times guys won't throw him the ball. It's not because they're not confident he can't get the float or the dunk, it's going to get stolen because he's so obviously standing there
Yeah,
that it's like the defense could read that, okay, they're probably going to look to throw him the ball. So they won't throw him the ball.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that again, I give credit to both Mitch and Hartenstein for setting those screens for the guys, but it creates this clutter of a mess of like it's congestion, in other words, sometimes. And I still notice it with Hartenstein down low. I'm like, if he gets out the way, you know, if you let Randall or Brunson drive, that'll draw Hartenstein's man over to try to double team, and now you'll be open. But if you're standing
yeah.
in the paint, all your man got to do is turn around and now he could watch you and watch whoever's driving in the lane. So I don't know, sometimes I don't like that, but I do agree that because Hartenstein is more mobile and fluid in his game, he can get out the way, he can move his feet and move around and get out of the way and allow that spacing, a little bit more of the spacing, so both Randall, or if it's Hartenstein, if it's Jalen Brunson, or if it's DiVincenzo and they're driving to the lane, or Josh Hart, they can
Mm.
get to the basket nice and smooth because there's no congestion in the paint, which has been a huge problem with the Knicks. And that, is something that I would notice that I'm like, I hate
But
how it.
again, you gotta realize, and I know with the high basketball IQ, you gotta realize these are the plays that's drawn up. Again, it's this tip system, and is designed, like for what it's like they don't veer outside the box or whatever. They play within that system, and it's sometimes it's limited. You
Yeah,
know,
it
to,
is. And that's a
was just
problem. Do
speaking.
you think that limiting and sticking to tip system can hurt the Knicks in the long run in the playoffs?
Well, he definitely minimized that 3-point shot with them taking so many.
Hmm.
Even Randall, he was known for jacking them up, so he's limiting his three. Not really. I think they just again they got to get back to that defensive, minded, playing. And they will definitely be able to thrive more because you can't have teams, scoring 140 something points on you or 138. That's not playing defense. So if they would just control the errors that they make, and just the turnovers, sloppy passing, and again get back to the defense, they can thrive, you know, although they are still missing that key piece, one key piece, possibly two, a center. But I mean, they're doing great. And of course, there's always, things you work on, but you work on that as you go along and throughout the season. But I just want them to get back to where they were last season. And it is doable. You're muted.
Had a train going by. I think the Knicks can get back to where they were, but I need them to get better than where they were last season.
Oh, for
I
sure.
think, for sure the Knicks were working with who they had. So I definitely would like to see them get better and improve in a lot of areas. And they're gonna get there, but I think also part with the phase two of whoever else the Knicks are looking to make their moves to bring in is gonna be crucial in that regard. But really quickly, because I know the game is gonna be starting soon, we'll jump into tonight's Friday night Knicks matchup against the Sixers. Um, Injury report, get back to that. For the Sixers, well, for the Knicks, Malachi Flynn is cleared to play tonight. The Sixers, they have Furkan Korsman's out, Robert Covington, and who was the other guy you were saying? You mentioned?
The Anthony Melton shake. They're going to
Yeah.
shake Melton.
So, um, still doesn't matter because Embiid and Maxi's playing. Um, you also got Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris, Pat Bev. I
Marcus
think
Morris,
Yeah, Marcus Morris, Kenyon Martin Jr. So they got a couple of weapons that they can utilize outside of their usual suspects.
a pretty decent bench.
Yeah, exactly. And that I think that the Knicks bench tonight has their work cut out for them. I
Yeah,
think Hartenstein for sure has his work cut out for him. Hartenstein is going to have to make it hard for Embiid. I think he's going to have to, unlike Mitch, Hartenstein could guard the three. So I would like to see him challenge him and not allow him just to shoot threes whenever he wants to. You know, make it hard for him to even get the ball on the post and be, you gotta don't let guys just get the easy baskets and set up to be able to move and make that move of what they want to do. So I want to see Hartenstein really put a body on Embiid and challenge him on the rebounds too, and put a body on him, box him out. And then as far as Maxi, I think that's going to be Brunson guarding him, right?
probably so. Yeah, or
Yeah.
they may do some switching. They're going to be doing some switching because, like I said, lately, seemed like Brunson's been seeing different bodies or whatever and different man coverage. But he was able to redeem himself with the Bulls. Nice bounce back game for him. He also had what he had like 12 assists, something like that. So that was
Okay.
a nice bounce back for him. But just like the matchup, and like Philly, their bench is just they have some nice guys on their bench, and that's what we're gonna need the Knicks, uh to make a huge contribution and to match them for the most part.
Yeah.
Me personally, MB, we know what he's gonna do, but frustrate him, you know. He's a player just like you. Frustrate him and force him to, maybe possibly take some tough shots. Why not? If you front him, force him to. And get OG involved, definitely early, within the offense because that's your third option right there. You
Right.
know, again, we need ball movement, like how they redeemed themselves in that second half for the Bulls, but they're gonna need to do that out the gate from the tip,
Right.
and minimize your turnovers. The cut, create and cut. So I mean, they're winnable. They lost to the Bulls before they beat them.
But
So
Embiid was out that game.
yeah, that's true.
He
Well,
was out. And when he came back, you saw the difference of his presence alone when he's in the game. But I don't think that Jalen Brunson should be on Maxi. I think you need somebody a bit quicker to be on him.
yeah. Well,
Um, I would say maybe Grimes. And then again,
But
I'm like,
Grimes
can
is
Grimes,
well, he's not starting, so they may just do a Dante, even an OG or something like that, just to
yeah, I was gonna even say Dante because I feel like he's quick enough to guard him. Like,
yeah,
I don't underestimate Dante. He was playing on the starting five for the Milwaukee
yeah,
Bucks.
yeah,
That it wasn't. It was just because he got hurt. You know what I mean? But people got to realize like this guy has that basketball IQ that's needed to win games. But I think that that's going to be the key. You have to shut down as much as possible both Embiid and Maxi, because if not, they're both going to go off.
yeah, yeah,
They're going to look up and they'll find themselves down by 15, 20 quick playing against Philly. Like they're not one of the top teams for no reason. And so I don't know. I don't think, like I said, I don't think Brunson should be on them. Philly's the number. Yeah, they're sitting at third, and the Knicks have to get some wins because they're sitting at eighth.
yeah,
Like me,
yeah,
in that fourth through eighth seed is anybody's. It's up for grabs for anybody.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think the Knicks have to develop some wins under their belt. But I want to see the Knicks be able to prove that they can beat a better team like Philly tonight and take that W. But I think they're going to have to capitalize on truly playing defense well, stepping that defense up, being aggressive on the boards, challenge guys. If you can get a steal, get it. But I think they have to try to do what they can to take Embiid and Maxi out of their game. And if Philly's off, take advantage. But you got to maintain that. They may be off the first half, but the second half they may come in and be red hot.
yeah, and
They like
vice
to play a
versa.
very right. They play a fast paced style of game too. So got to be able to guard them. Salute Parrish. He said, "Salute, salute. We got to go get one more defense and offensive wing. I would do Jeremy Grant or Murray. I do like both of those picks. I like Jeremy Grant and I like Murray. I'm hoping the Knicks could for sure make the Murray trade happen and get him over here. Um, he seems to want to come to New York and play. I think it's also a lot of background uh, front office work to make it happen. Hearing reports on Brogdon just now.
Past Ducker.
My favorite choice would be DeRozan though because short commitment. Yeah.
And he said, for Randle insurance. Yeah, Boyd Allen said hearing reports on Brogdon. Yeah, just now. Yeah, I saw a report about that too. Malcolm Brogdon.
Hmm.
So when you throw all these guys in there, you got options. You just gotta just find the one that's gonna help and contribute, the most and could fit in with the scheme, and the offense, what Tibbs is trying to run. So, these are all like good players. So,
Yeah.
you know, so let's just
And that's
hope
the
that.
thing. I think the Knicks have to go after guys that are here to win now. We don't have time to go after guys that we have to wait for them to develop or they're not ready yet. Case in point, we don't need guys on the level of like a McBride or Grimes. We need guys who are ready to go after it when that playoff season start. It's a different ball game. It's not the regular season, and the Knicks truly need to go after guys who's going to be able to get you through the first round, get you through the second round, and be able to take on the challenges of those better teams and even teams that are not ranked high, but teams tend to make that switch and turn it up in the postseason. And I think the Knicks need to go after guys who's going to be able to really contribute and be, a factor to both Randle and Brunson and be able to contribute so that it doesn't just fall on the same two people every night. We get somebody else that can give you 20, 25 a night
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not just have, 7 points here, 6 points here from this guy. Like, no, we need, I still think that yes, we need another solid. wing shooter choice. And then to me, I still believe that the Knicks need another solid backup five because
Yeah.
even when Mitch comes back, and you pointed this out, which is true. Since Mitch has been with the Knicks, he's very injury prone. Mitch is
Yeah, I
good,
saw
but
the
he's
season.
injury prone. And not only that, Mitch doesn't have an offensive presence for us. I think Mitch will be a good as a second backup, but to me, I would keep Isaiah Hartenstein.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I it's a business. I know a lot of fans are tied to Mitch, but you got to look in the long run. And I hate when I hear people say reports like, "Oh, Knicks fans want instant gratification." We've been waiting for over 50 years.
Exactly. How is
How
that
much
instant
longer should we wait? What do you mean? It's not that we want to snap our fingers. Yeah, we would all love that. But we've been waiting for over 50 years for these guys to
Yeah.
pull out something more than a first round, second round. And
And,
throughout the season, not sitting clinching and filled with anxiety because we look up, the Knicks was up by 20 and they go back down. Like we need a consistent team here in New York.
and we don't need a rental. We need someone who's in for the long haul.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, we'll see what happens for tonight. Your predictions for tonight's game. I know tip off is about to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm hoping the Knicks take it. I have confidence that they will. I'm Team Knicks. This is why we're here.
Right. Yeah. So the Knicks, we'll see. I want them to come out with energy and also come out strong for tomorrow as they're playing a back to back. So they're playing Philly tonight and then they play Washington tomorrow. So I would like to see the Knicks get both wins. I'm optimistic and being positive because I think this is a great challenge for them. And I'm looking forward to a Knicks win, at least one of them for this weekend, but
Same here.
preferably both.
Same here.
But anything else from you before we get out of here?
Nah, the game started, so let's go Knicks. That's my mantra.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Salute to Von Allen and Parrish Duggar and to all the replay gang. Thanks for those who subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. Go Knicks. And we'll see you for the next game. Until next time, as we always say, peace.
Peace.